Please make me a fan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Make Me a Fan podcast. I know it's been a few weeks, and I apologize for that. This is pretty much the first time I can really put on a pair of headphones and listen to anything without a lot of pain. If you guys have been following us on Twitter or Facebook, which is Twitter is Make Me a Fan, and Facebook is Make Me a Fan podcast, you'll know that on Memorial Day, basically, May 29th, I fell out of a car that was moving, and I fractured my skull. I woke up the next day puking with the worst headache I've ever had in my life. Pretty much every half hour, I was vomiting, and which, if you've ever vomited while you've had a headache, you know that shit really, really hurts. I was supposed to have a cookout with my family. I pretty much went back to bed. Slept until the next morning. I woke up hoping everything would be better. Ended up throwing up again. Called in sick to work. Went back to sleep until maybe like 2 or 3 o'clock. Woke up. Headache was still the worst headache I've ever had in my life. I had road rash on my back. My elbow was skinned up. My head was just, oh my God, my head. So my beautiful wife, Carrie, made the mature call to take me to the emergency room. They did a CT scan and saw that I had a fracture on the back of my head, bruising on the front inside of my head from where my brain apparently sloshed, and the sac around my brain inside my skull was apparently bleeding on the right side near my ear. It was a subdermal hemo something or another. I forget the name. But regardless, I spent 2 weeks in the hospital. I didn't get out until a week ago Saturday, which would have been, when did I get out? I got out the 10th of June. I'm recording this right now on Tuesday, the 20th of June. And I'm about to release the episode that was supposed to be released after Memorial Day. I hope you guys enjoy it. We do have another episode pre-recorded that I'm going to release the following week. And then at the end of the month, end of June, we're going to finally do our crossover episode with the What If podcast. We'll be doing a little Skype podcast with them. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to release the audio, or if we're going to release the audio, or we're both going to do it. I'm not sure yet. They've been very supportive of us when Brody died and when I almost died. It's scary to think that I could have died from this accident that, fucking fractured my skull. I've broken a lot of bones in my lifetime. I've broken bones in both my hands. I've broken my left collarbone twice. I've broken my shin. I've broken my big toe. And this skull fracture is by far the worst that I've ever experienced in my life. It's been almost a month, and I'm still taking meds for it. And my head sometimes is still killing me. Yesterday it felt really good. I spent the entire day playing video games with my dad for Father's Day. We played Left 4 Dead 2 for about 4 or 5 hours, and that was a fucking blast. Went out to eat for him for Father's Day, and then today I woke up. I slept too long, probably too long in between taking medicines, and my head was killing me again. So pounded down some coffee, took some more Percocet, and feeling a little better now. I got the episode all mixed up, and not mixed up. It's mastered, basically. So I'm going to add this little intro to the beginning, and then all you got to do is keep listening, and you'll hear this week's episode. Tomorrow's my birthday, so yeah. Turning 36 years old, and my dumbass still fracturing my skull. So, guess it's got to be the Irishman in me. You can't really be Irish unless you've, broken a lot of bones and fractured your skull at some point in your life because you're drunk and stupid. So, please enjoy this week's episode. I know we had a lot of fun researching it and talking about it. And we'll have another probably pre-recorded episode next week, and then after that, it's the crossover episode with the What If podcast. So thanks for being patient with us, guys. Thanks for all the kind words, the people that have given us shout-outs, that have personally messaged me, wishing me a speedy recovery. Thanks to the What If podcast. Thanks to my wife for, basically putting her life on hold to take care of me because I wasn't able to do anything. I mean, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks on morphine and other bullshit. So I'm glad I'm out. Hopefully I can get off these painkillers soon and get back to recording. I'm also working on a new comic that I'm pretty excited about. I'll give you guys more information on that later. I'm sure you're sick of me talking solo. So without further ado, here is this week's episode. Thanks again, guys. Enjoy.
What the fuck?
Mental vacation.
Makes me seem like a horrible individual.
You are.
Yeah.
Have anal sex with a person who, prior to the deed, has swallowed a piece of raw bacon.
What?
like fucking a chicken. That'd be awesome.
Well, make me a fan of your crime.
They still had places to go. There were still bars.
Make me a fan podcast.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Make Me a Fan podcast. I am the host, Shaun, and I'm joined, as always, with my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful wife, Carrie. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Shaun.
How you doing today?
All right.
And my other co-host is my brother, TJ. How you doing, TJ?
Doing pretty swell.
That's good. I'm glad you guys are doing good because it's Tuesday or Wednesday whenever I decide to release this episode. So you're almost halfway done with the week. Hey, just think it could be Friday and you could be recording a podcast.
Like it is actually for us, and it's about to be a 3-day weekend.
It is. Hopefully everyone had a great Memorial Day. Hopefully you grilled up some meat and ate it and paid respect to the people that died for Memorial Day. So, yeah.
Including the animals that died so that you could eat them. I'm just kidding.
Exactly. Yeah. Rest in peace,
Sorry,
cows.
no disrespect to veterans.
Oh, that's okay. All right, so I want to start this podcast out by asking you guys a question. It's a little surprise. I see a little surprise on both your faces. I want to know whatever happened to predictability.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what?
Like, the milkman and like the paper boy and evening TV.
Okay.
Don't you ever miss your old familiar friends?
Is this like a trick question?
I don't know.
Then just like waiting around the bend, there's like a heart or a hand to hold on to.
What?
What are
everywhere you
talking
look, there's a face
about? Oh my God, is this like a song?
of somebody who needs you.
This is a song lyric, isn't it?
I just want everyone to remember, when you're lost out there and you're all alone, a light is waiting to carry you home. Everywhere you look, boom, boom, boom.
Is this the,
Full House?
that's
Yeah.
what it's called,
Yeah.
yeah. I kept thinking of Friends.
Okay. What? I don't understand what. What? That was really random.
Yeah, but it was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so to something that's not fun at all is our topic for the day.
Well, it depends on your point of reference. Could be fun.
Yeah, I found some parts in this pretty fun.
Yeah, I'd
It's,
say this matches my mood tonight, actually.
Uh-oh.
The smiley face part or the killing part?
Both.
All of the above.
Yeah.
I'm not that person, by the way.
You're not the smiley face killer?
No.
Okay, we're gonna have to have a part 2 of this. Do a little more investigation into where my wife was in 2008. Because some of these murders,
College?
by the Milwaukee River.
Probably drinking with my friends, not by the river.
Dun dun dun. Case solved.
I was probably drinking cheap wine in my apartment, getting drunk.
Looking at MySpace for hot guys.
Yeah.
2008,
Actually,
yeah.
I was not living with people. I was living by myself in 2008.
So you're drinking alone with your cat, looking at guys on MySpace.
Whatever. She was the
getting
best
drunk.
drinking buddy.
Oh, sorry, Sam, Matt,
Never mind.
Withdrawn.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't drink anything, so
More for you.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so this was Carrie's topic idea. She suggested these smiley face killings, or killer, or killers, however you look at it. So to give you guys a little bit of a background that never heard about this, basically in like 2008, a couple retired New York police detectives named Frank Gannon and Anthony Duarte. I don't know if you say that last name. If you ever listen to this podcast, you know I cannot pronounce names and I cannot speak in accents and I don't do foreign words. I am an American. Fuck
America.
yeah. So they came up with the smiley face killer theory. They claim that starting around 1997, so that probably eliminates you already because you're what, like 10?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
You
suck at
know
math,
what
too.
year I was born
I
in.
suck at math too. I just did that off the top
Side
of my head.
note, my husband asked me the other day
Oh my
when
God.
I was born, what my birthday was. He
February
didn't
5th.
remember my birthday.
February 5th, 1987.
Good job.
Yeah, that means you're over 30. If you want me to say it on the podcast. I'm not
I'm
cutting
not
that part
over
out.
Cut that
30.
out.
I
yeah, you
am
are.
30.
You're over.
No, I am 30.
You turned 30 in February.
I'm
Yep,
still...
and now you're over.
It's almost June.
Oh my God.
You're like halfway into 30 now.
Yeah, you're
Y-
closer
no,
to
you are
you're
no.
closer to 40 than you are
TJ
20.
I am no.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with me, people. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Not tonight.
Yeah, wrong time to fuck with her. We're talking about the smiley face killings, which she probably had something to do with.
No.
Okay. So anyway, from starting around 1997 and until present day, covering about 11 states from like New York to Minnesota, more than 36 corpses have been dredged from rivers and lakes and ponds that all have a bunch of similarities. So basically all the victims are white, so that disproves white privilege right there because they're getting killed. Their whiteness did not save them. So they're all white, college-aged males who are described as athletic, good-looking, and academically successful. The detectives theorize that maybe...
Wait, so they're successful white college students
Yeah, and
that
they're-
are men?
and they're athletic and good-looking.
Is a smiley face killer black?
That's why we're still alive, too, I guess.
I'm going to get to that.
Oh.
I do have something about the race aspect.
Okay.
That's serious that I didn't even write. That's from a journalist in Milwaukee.
Intriguing.
Yeah, one of the theories is that the killers are, I'm going to use quotes here, possibly clumsy, ugly, and dumb, and therefore motivated by envy.
Envious of white privileged college men,
Hot-
boys, guys,
Hot
whatever.
jock. Yeah, I think they're all guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all men.
Yeah, they're all like,
Bros.
attractive jocks.
Could that just be because guys are more likely to leave a bar alone than
Yeah,
a woman?
And be attractive
We can
and
get,
athletic.
Yeah, we can get into that later.
All right, yeah, let me get through all the similarities before Carrie starts playing 20 questions here.
Okay.
Okay, all the victims have been spotted at bars or parties getting drunk on the evening they disappeared. In at least a dozen cases, smiley faces were found painted near where the detectives determined the bodies had been dropped in the water. Nearly all of these alleged drowning victims were discovered in frigid northern climates during the winter months. Yet there are no similar patterns of alcohol-related drownings in the much warmer southern states, even in summertime. Since some of the disappearances occurred on the same night in different states, the detectives conclude that a well-structured organization of killers was possible. According to forensic pathologist Dr. Cyril Wetschk, that's Cyril, that's
Oh
the
my
first
gosh.
name, Cyril
No, don't repeat it. That was like
Wetschk,
no.
That one
W-E-C-H-T.
that one scientist, dude.
Wetschk.
Oh gosh.
Well, anyway, I don't even know if it's a guy or a girl.
Wait.
Dr. Cyril,
Oh,
is that a guy?
I don't know.
Oh, whatever. Z said,
There you go.
the statistics are so stacked against this number of men, young men, Caucasian men, found in bodies of water in that cluster of states within that period of time that it's almost mathematically impossible for these incidents to be unrelated. Professor Lee Gilbertson, quote unquote, nationally acclaimed criminologist from Minnesota's St. Cloud State University, originally dismissed the theory as a, quote, urban legend. But after scrutinizing the evidence, he unabashedly declared that the Smiley Face Killers were a real, quote, national-wide organization that revels in killing young men. So that's the theory.
Okay.
Yeah. So the killing started in 97, but this became popular in like 2008. And then nothing really happened until 2012 when a Northwestern University student corpse was found floating near smiley face graffiti on a tree. And then right here, good old Milwaukee, Wisconsin, at the Milwaukee River, a young white male's body was found at the Milwaukee River. And according to Eugene Kane of onmilwaukee.com, he says, quote, I've been warned in the past not to talk about a serial killer of white men in Wisconsin who prey on drunken college-aged males.
Why are you talking in that accent?
Because
that's how he sounds. Did you listen to the interview?
No.
That's what he sounds like.
Oh, okay.
Don't be racist. Jesus Christ.
I think so. Okay, go on.
So, college-aged males in order to find a way to drown them in the river. I'm still intrigued why black males who drink a lot don't end up in the river and why that particular racial angle seldom gets discussed. And most recently, the smiley face killer theory came in February of 2015 in regards to the reputed drowning of 21-year-old Shane Montgomery, who had been last seen drinking with his friends the day before Thanksgiving, but whose body was not found until right before Christmas.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember that one. I remember...
The one in Milwaukee?
I just remember these killings, they all kind of popped up on the news around the same time. It was probably... When was the first time they announced it in Milwaukee?
Milwaukee
year?
was 2012.
Okay, then that was probably then the year that I first heard of this. And I only piqued interest in it because it was like... It almost seemed like every week or every couple of weeks, it was becoming this frequency of these bodies showing up in the Milwaukee River.
Well, I think only one was in Milwaukee River.
Well,
there was one in, I have the states of all the,
I thought there was more than one though that was found in Milwaukee in the river.
Yeah, there could have been more than one. I know one was in La Crosse or Eau Claire.
I think it was La Crosse, yeah.
Yeah, La Crosse. So, I won't go. I have 42 victims. I won't go through and read all of them, but I'll find the Wisconsin ones. Christopher Melancon, Lucas Hammond, Kenjay Ami. That doesn't sound like a white guy. This one says Cullen Fortney, but he survived.
What?
Oh, I do have information on him. Yeah. I read about him because I was like,
what do you mean?
How did he survive?
Yeah, what?
Yeah,
like a vegetable.
I think someone saw him floating and they rescued him. And the cops asked him what happened, and he had no idea. He remembered leaving the party, and that was it.
Oh, he was drugged.
And I think he still had like his phone and his wallet and everything. But
someone found him floating in a river, and he was alive.
I think so.
And was
yeah.
able to talk.
Well,
yeah.
Well, that was one of the things I read is that a lot of these victims, when they were found, they were face up. And that's like totally goes against like what would happen in an actual drowning. Normally you find them face down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was another weird aspect
I
of all
did
these
not know that.
killings.
So why would the news basically, because I remember, at least in Milwaukee, the news basically just was like, they're all just accidental. It was basically just drunk people walking home. They're all by the river, at a bar or a party by the river, and fell in the river.
Yeah, it's Wisconsin. That's what we do. We drink.
But anyone who's been in Milwaukee, I mean, how the fuck do you just fall in the river, even if you're drunk?
Well, how many times have you fallen when you were drinking? Not into a river, but...
But I'm saying, like, the river, though, at least as far as I know, there's fencing up. Like, if you're walking along the river in the city, there's, a fence. Or if you're walking across a bridge, there's a fence.
By Water Street?
Not like a fence, but like a gate. Like, there's some type of guard.
There's like a rail. It's like waist tall at the highest.
I feel like it would take a lot, though, for someone drunk to just, like, tip over the railing.
Did you ever watch YouTube video drunk fails?
But if they're by themselves, why would they be sitting on a railing or doing anything like that?
You can walk and you start stumbling.
Or you're dizzy and you want to balance yourself, so you sit on the rail and then just tip over because you're still dizzy.
Whatever. I know those people were murdered. I don't know, but I
all right, so that's your stance right now? They've all been murdered so far?
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's just they're all too, I don't know, it's all too similar. And they all didn't, when did you say the first one was 97 and when was the last one?
2015. And, well, I still have in my head, 15 out of the 42 are from Wisconsin. I don't have the geographic locations of all of them.
Yeah, but they were all in the Midwest.
Yeah, well, 15 out of the 42 are from Wisconsin.
Yeah, but from what I read, all of them were in the Midwest.
Yeah, I got Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, Minnesota, New York, Ohio. Yeah, Michigan. Pretty much, yeah, from like Ohio, like the Midwest all the way to New York.
So a traveling killers.
Yeah,
that's why I think it's an organization. Yeah, it's a network.
And that is really random with the smiley face too. Like I didn't know about that.
Well, where do you think they got the name from?
Yeah.
Well, that's where I found out they got the name from.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen smiley faces spray painted anywhere.
Exactly, me either.
So it's really random that they noticed that by each of these bodies. Yeah. But I also don't get it because one of the bodies like float and move, and therefore how would they know where the bodies were going to like
that's
be
kind
found?
of the debunking part.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But we do have, out of all these so-called accidental drownings, at least 2 are classified as homicides. The rest are still all accidental drownings. So
where were the 2 that were classified as homicides? What state?
Well,
I think Minnesota was one. And
yeah, 21-year-old Patrick McNeil was last spotted drinking with his friends at Manhattan's Dapper Dog Bar one night in February of 1997. His corpse was dragged out of the East River 2 months later and 12 miles away. His body was found floating face up, which is extremely rare for drowning victims. An autopsy revealed ligature marks around his neck. And get ready for some sexy images in your head. His growing area showed housefly larvae that had been laid on his body indoors and under warm conditions.
What?
Yeah, he had housefly eggs in his dick and nuts in his growing area.
Why? So someone basically mutilated his groin area?
No. In other words, basically his body was dead before it ever went in the water.
Okay, so someone disposed of his body in the water.
Yeah. Even though he'd been missing for like 2 months, there's an absence of what is known as skin slippage under his feet, which says he's only been in the water for less than a day. But I don't know exactly what skin slippage is, but
I think the fat just deteriorates in between the skin and where it connects to your body.
Okay. Yeah, because you're floating in the water.
Up,
yeah. Like when you're in the tub for too long, you start getting wrinkly.
Okay, but did that one though have a smiley face by? Because I feel like that's like not related to the rest of them then.
Well,
because his body was found in the river like months after he had died.
A lot of them are, yeah.
Like the one in New York, he disappeared on Halloween, but he wasn't found until 4 months later, the next year. Yeah.
But was he in the water for the whole 4 months?
Yeah, he actually got froze in the water because it was in Minnesota.
Oh my God.
And then the second one that's classified as a homicide is on Halloween night in 2002. 21-year-old University of Minnesota student Chris Jenkins was last seen being kicked out of a bar. 4 months later, his body was found encased in ice in the Mississippi River. I think that's what you're talking about, TJ. But he was face up with his hands folded across his chest. Yet again, not the typical position for a drowning victim.
So were those the only 2 that are found face up?
Those are the only 2 that are classified as homicides. I don't know. I didn't read in like autopsy reports for all 42 people. I have a 60-hour work week. So those 2 are actually classified out of the list as homicides. The rest of them are all still accidental drownings.
So why are the rest, though, I wonder, classified as accidental? Like what what puts them in that classification of accidental as opposed to...
Probably no ligature marks, no tox stuff in them.
Yeah, they're just hot, drunk, stupid college kids that fell in a river.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I always thought that these things were homicidal, like someone saw someone drunk walking by and basically pushed them into the river, and they were so drunk they probably just couldn't, figure out how to swim or whatever.
Yeah, that could be.
Because I just cannot wrap my head around how someone, when you're drunk, falls in the river.
How do people, when they're drunk, drive a car into a telephone pole or another car? How do people do that?
That's different because you're in a car. How do drunk people
fall down stairs? How do you fall over in an elevator?
Okay, well, I picture a river.
Okay.
In fact, I know almost certainly that in Milwaukee, all of the river, at least where there's walking paths, there is some type of gate or
like
railing.
A handrail. Yeah. Waist level.
Yeah. Yes.
And these are all athletic male college kids.
But I still feel, though, like if they tripped, they would not tumble over the railing.
Okay. Assuming they're athletic, they got to be at least as tall as me, right? 6'2", I'd say. At least 6 foot. And they're probably muscular. And what's the typical muscular frame? Wide shoulders, thin hips,
top heavy,
big chest. And you're drunk. What happens when you're drunk and you trip? You have no kind of equilibrium. You have no kind of reflexes. And gravity is way stronger than you are. So you're just sitting on a bench, right? Just a normal bench with no back. And you're drunk. And you lean back a little too far. What's going to happen? You're going to fall over backwards on that bench.
I see your point, but I still am questioning.
All right, tomorrow last week after Sam's birthday party, when you get drunk, I'm gonna give you a little nudge. And if you fall, I'm gonna be like, boom.
Exactly.
Proven.
If you give me a nudge, which is what I'm saying, I'm wondering if these people were given a nudge. Like maybe they were standing by the river pissing and someone came up behind them and pushed them in the river.
Let me give you an example. Me and, I won't say his name, but I'm sure you guys can figure out which one of my friends I'm talking about.
I already know who you're talking about.
Yeah, we were drunk at a bar, and he had a little freak out, threw some people by their faces to get out of the club, went outside, puked all over the place. He was fine, right? Standing there. I turn around and talk to someone, and I hear someone hit a watermelon with a fucking baseball bat. And I look over, and he's literally... his forehead is on the concrete and the rest of his body is still slumped up.
Okay. I guess if someone, maybe they were standing by the railing peeing
or just walking and drunk,
dozed off, fell forward and then tumbled into the river. I could see that. I feel like though I feel like they would have to be facing the railing, though, in order to fall in. I don't know how you could be walking alongside the river and then suddenly fall sideways over the railing.
Because when you're drunk, there is no direction. Like, when you're drunk and you fall, you just start... Your
equilibrium is off, but I feel like if you're sideways, though, you're going to run into the railing before you topple over the railing.
The railing for those people, like it is me, is like mid-thigh, maybe bottom of the waist.
Okay, so we don't agree. I think I'm trying to think of things that could, prevent someone from falling in on their own, and I'm mentioning ways how they could fall in on their own, and you're disputing that. So we don't agree. So that's just how that is.
Yeah, that's why we're discussing this.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to continue going on debating, though, about you debating what I'm saying and me debating what you're saying.
All right. So should we get into debunking the theory then?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. So yeah, in 2008, the FBI issued a press release claiming... quote, "We have not developed any evidence to support links between these tragic deaths or any evidence substating the theory that these deaths are the work of a serial killer or killers. The vast majority of these incidents appear to be alcohol-related drownings. So, and then in 2010, the Center for Homicide Research released a document called Drowning the Smiley Face Murder Theory that had 18 reasons for why they feel it's false. Do you happen to read any of those, Teach?
Yep.
You got any good ones from that, or? I saved it, but I didn't really look at it at all.
Yeah, I will, I guess, focus on the smiley faces themselves. I'll combine or talk about the 3 points for that.
Okay.
The first one is basically, all right, so the problem of time order. I guess a lot of the smiley faces that were found at some of the crime scenes were like worn out and faded. So
they're like super old.
Yeah. So like obviously the murders happened after the smiley faces were painted. Next, not all the crime scenes had smiley faces at them. It was actually kind of like a small number of them. And then lastly, for the smiley faces, no two smiley faces were the same. Like they were all different. You know, some were the classic yellow face with like the black, you know, the 2 dots for eyes, and then the smile. Other ones were red, other ones were black, you know, so there's no consistency of the smiley faces whatsoever.
Because there was a group of people doing it.
Yeah.
And technically anywhere, how many miles in between each Walmart in the country do you think it is? Every 30 miles there's a Walmart?
Yeah, in the country, yeah, probably.
How many miles in between Walmart trash bags? Because, you know, they got the smiley face on every Walmart bag.
Yeah.
So I'm sure every river in Wisconsin or in the country probably has a Walmart trash bag every so many miles.
There's not smiley faces on Walmart bags anymore.
There's not?
No.
Well, what about in 2008 or 2003?
Or 1997?
I don't know. There might have been. Yeah, then.
I
don't know when they stopped.
So I don't understand the whole connection between the smiley face and the murders when they're not present at every crime scene. They're not the same, and they're faded.
And that's a pretty popular graffiti
symbol. That was another point. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Even though I've never seen one, I also don't really look at graffiti either.
Yeah,
so
I've never seen a smiley face graffiti, but supposedly it's popular.
Yeah, when I hear smiley face, the first thing I think of is Walmart, because it's their like fucking logo.
The first thing I think of is Nirvana.
I just think of emojis.
Yeah, and they did come out with that smiley face killer horror movie that had nothing to do with this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a slasher film, and the killer, he just had like a giant smiley face head.
Oh,
it was like all bloated and like cut up.
I think I saw a trailer of that.
It was pretty stupid from what I remember. Do you see the? I have no idea how to pronounce it. The Sinsinua.
Oh yeah, I
didn't find that anywhere in my research at all until I got to the debunking.
Exactly.
What is that?
It's apparently it's a Native American word,
and it's very common.
Yeah, it means rattlesnake or home of the young eagle.
Okay.
Yeah. Apparently, it's a relatively common term that appears in over 15 different locations around the country, including Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Illinois, and Washington. It occurs as a name of 3 streets, 1 river, various commercial businesses, schools, and other sorted place names. I've never heard of Sinsinsawa.
Let me see the word.
It's Sinsinwa.
Sinsinwa. Yeah, we live in places where our cities are called like Oconomowoc and Manitoba, and what are some fucked up Native American?
A lot of the northern like
Milwaukee,
cities and all that are real crazy.
Yeah, they're all.
I don't understand. So
Potawatomi.
is this like a street name that is commonly found throughout the Midwest?
Yeah, well, it's
by
everything.
The graffiti?
No, yeah. This graffiti was by some of the killings too.
I don't understand what this in Sinawa though is.
Exactly. I didn't find it in any of my research.
What is it? Is it a street? Is it a word
it's
that's
a word.
written?
It's a word
that someone spray painted?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the graffiti at some of the crime scenes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Native American word.
But they're saying it's such a common Native American word that it's easily
we've
explained.
never heard it. We live in we got the Potawatomi Casino here. We just had, what was the other Indian tribe fight for a casino? We got Ho Chunk, got Potawatomi, Menominee. Wasn't it the Menominee?
Probably.
Yeah, I think they were fighting for a new casino. Yeah, I mean, we got a shitload of Native American. We got Shinshikwa. That's a city here.
Wait a
Native
second.
American.
No, it's not. It's not graffitied around. It says it occurs as the name of streets.
Yeah,
3
I just
streets,
read that.
1 river, various businesses, schools, and other places.
Yeah, I just read that.
Well, I just asked how was it placed, and I was
It
like,
was
and you guys didn't answer
graffiti.
me, so I was
Yeah,
like,
no.
oh, is it painted? And you said, yeah, but it
We said
wasn't.
graffiti. No, it was.
Yeah, but they're saying that it's so common.
Yeah, because it appears as. That's why it's so common. It would be like, okay, yeah, there was smiley face graffiti. There's also smiley face on every Nirvana shirt, every Walmart bag. It's using the comparison.
Oh, see, I'm reading this as that the word is another thing that is found in common with all of these killings.
It was.
It's found, though, by like people are found by streets that are called it, or a river that's called it, or some businesses that are called. That's how I'm reading what this says.
Okay, well, basically, it's like that's graffiti, like the smiley face, but it's a common word, is what they're saying. The bodies aren't found by rivers and streets. They're found in rivers, but...
It says, like the smiley faces, Sinsinawa is a relatively common term that appears in over 15 different locations around the country.
Yeah, that's what I...
Which includes all of the Midwestern states. And that according to CHR researches, it occurs as the name of 3 streets, 1 river, various businesses, schools, and other sort of place names, including religious order.
Exactly. They're saying it's very common, much like the smiley face.
Okay, I thought that this word, though, was found nearby all of these bodies.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, in street names?
No, in graffiti.
Okay, well, I guess I'm reading this differently than you're reading it.
You're reading one part of it, babe.
I just read the whole thing.
I know. This is debunking it. It's like if you read the smiley face thing, and you're like, so they were found by a smiley face the entire time. Like the word is graffiti, and they're saying it's a common word. It's used for street names. It's used for buildings.
Yeah, but I'm saying that I didn't read anywhere there that it was graffitied anywhere by these victims. I read that the victims were found nearby streets, businesses, schools, and other things that had that word in it. That's how I read that.
Okay, well, this says it's a common term, and it occurs as the name of 3 streets, 1 river, various commercial business, schools, and other assorted places. It occurs as the name, not by the name.
Okay, then I guess I don't understand the point of talking about Sinsinawa, since I don't know what that has to do with the smiley face killers.
Well, apparently that was found too, and like we were saying before, we couldn't find it anywhere in our notes, but the FBI or whoever, I don't remember who the fuck put this together, they said that it debunks it.
Okay.
All right. So the next thing is that there was no trauma to the victims, so
except for those 2. Yeah,
so it can't be classified as like murders. They're just strictly drownings. People falling in and drowning. Also, like homicidal drowning is like one of the most rare forms of murder. So like, what was it? Oh yeah, the FBI said 907 homicidal drownings were recorded over a 21-year history. And of these, nearly half were victims aged 8 and under.
Okay, so that leaves us with what, like 450 drownings then in 21 years?
There were only
roughly
117 homicidal drownings of college students over a 21-year span.
And how crazy is it that 42 of them are found in this one stretch?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's
15 of them.
But it's half the country when you think about it. If you're talking from like Minnesota to New York.
Okay, look at Wisconsin. That's 15 deaths in Wisconsin alone. That only leaves 112 left. That's a lot of accidental drownings just in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Like, that could definitely be a serial killer, right, Carrie?
I think so.
Yeah.
Has anyone looked into how many accidental drownings have occurred in other states throughout the country?
Well, this is for the whole country. The entire country only had 117 deaths aged 18 to 24 in the past 21 years.
Okay, well, That is why it's suspicious to me, because there's a lot of rivers and bodies of water throughout the country, and a lot of bars by these bodies of water and rivers. So why has this phenomenon, or whatever the fucking term would be, hasn't occurred in any other, at least like the western or, like the other side of the country?
Yeah, exactly. Like the South, like the
or even South. Yeah,
like Eugene Kane from OnMilwaukee.com said, like. Well, for one, it's not happening to black people around here, and two, it's not happening anywhere down south.
Wait, have any of those homicide victims, or any of those have any of those people that have died been black?
No,
they're all white.
They're all white.
College-aged men.
Yes, that's what we've established.
Well, that alone to me is red flag. That it has. I mean,
it means the killer's black, obviously.
No,
and he's fat and clumsy.
No,
and ugly.
Okay, what is the classification of a serial killer?
Kills more than 3 people.
Yeah.
Over
a series of time, yeah.
But isn't it, though, like there's a theme? There's always like a pattern with a serial killer?
Are you talking about the profile?
Yeah.
The profile is, statistically, serial killers are like white,
No. Okay, no, I'm not talking about profile.
She's talking about an MO.
Oh.
Like
modus operandi.
Yeah, like there's
whatever.
the pattern of that they're all college-aged white men.
Yeah,
that to me, not being a professional in the police world or whatever, is a red flag to me. Why are they all in the same age range, the same skin color, and the same sex? Those are 3 things in common that all 42 people have in common.
That's very true.
That would be very strange that all of those were all accidental.
I think it's just Bill Cosby trying to get frisky, and he gave them too much roofies and they fell in the river.
Why the fuck would Bill Cosby care about all those college men? Doesn't he rape like women?
Maybe every now and then he gets sick of the pudding pop and he wants the popsicle.
Pudding pop.
I laugh at my own joke and no one else will.
Not to make it a race thing, but I mean, there's lots of I don't know, but I feel like there's a big divide when it comes to black people and how they feel about white men like in power, like congressmen and stuff like that. Which I agree, they're all people in Congress are just a bunch of douchebags, but maybe college men are an easier target for them.
Could be.
Could it be like part of the, isn't there like a black gang or something? Like a black party gang?
Even Black Panthers?
Yeah, is that it?
Oh
Do they kill people?
No.
Are they bad?
Did.
Oh, they did?
They were kind of bad
in
the day.
They don't exist anymore?
They exist, but they don't kill people.
Yeah.
How do we know that, though? Maybe there's like a side party.
Now they're like the KKK, where they just kind of like hold rallies and shit. I don't think they really do much. I don't really follow them. If you're a part of them, I'm sorry. I don't subscribe to your newsletter, so I don't know what you're up to. But I don't know. Maybe.
Or maybe it's not maybe it's not race related at all. Maybe it's not black at all. Maybe
it could be the NAACP out there trying to go for their colleges.
Okay.
We're going to get so much hate mail.
Did any of those guys have anything else in common where they were all college students, so they all have the same major?
No.
Okay.
No. The only thing they had in common, they're all classified as young, drunk, attractive, and athletic. And they got drunk at bars near rivers. Yeah, and apparently none of the drownings is not really a serial killer motive. Like, not a lot of serial killers use drowning. Like, shooting, obviously, probably number one. Strangulation, stabbing, shit like that. But you don't get a lot of, like, drowning serial killers.
Yeah, but how easy would it be, if this isn't the case, for a serial killer to get away with it because they're drunk?
Yeah, and it wouldn't be really hard. Honestly, like, when I hear like that reporter say, oh, it never happens down in the South, even in summertime, or wintertime, like, well, yeah, if you fall in the Milwaukee River in February when the ice, like thawed a little bit, but then it's all of a sudden negative 14 again, but there's still water flowing because it's a river. You fall on that shit, you're hitting hypothermia within like 40 seconds.
True.
And especially if you're drunk, as soon as you hit that water, you're basically done. And then you slide underneath an ice patch. And I've watched documentaries about drowning underneath ice. If you fall through ice in a lake, like it's...
Did all of these guys die in like winter months?
Yeah.
So no deaths have occurred in the summer, warmer months.
Not that I saw.
Okay.
I don't have the times. I just have the states and the names.
Have
of the
there
people.
been? Do we know? Have there been other stories of people who have drunkenly fallen in the river and been able to get out?
Yeah.
Even if they're with
Just that
people?
one guy.
Well, no, there's been a bunch in La Crosse. I guess they actually have like public safety announcements, and they have increased police presence because over the course of like 3 years, they had 9 intoxicated college men drowned in the rivers, and then
That's almost all the 15 from Wisconsin.
How did they fall in the rivers? Did they talk about that?
Drinking and walking.
Well, yeah, but
And then
goes back to my initial question of how do you fall in a river when there's a fucking railing?
Supposedly, it's been known in all over the world, the United Kingdom, Canada. This happens all over the world. It's been well documented.
I could see it happening maybe overseas where the railings are like 3 feet tall.
But not every river has a railing, though.
Okay. In a city, though?
Yeah, I can think of a bunch of places along the Milwaukee River, down around Water Street, where you can get right up to the water if you want to, and maybe all you have is a 3-foot barrier. Like, it's definitely not coming above my waistline.
Yeah, I guess I haven't hung out in the city by the river enough to...
Yeah, I used to deliver down there all the time.
Factual about that. I know in Waukesha, the Fox River does... I think there's a pathway that goes along the river that doesn't have a railing.
Yeah, exactly.
But have there been any deaths in that river?
I don't know.
No one in
I only have the
Waukesha?
states.
Oh.
I don't know.
And then in 2010, La Crosse had 20 victims that almost drowned, but they survived. And they did firsthand counts that they were drunk. They did it for dares, suicide attempts, or they just accidentally fell in. And contrary to popular belief, accidental near drownings are fairly common, though not typically well documented. Footwear slip marks have been documented on the riverbank in Minneapolis by the police there. So supposedly river, what do they call it? Near drownings is super common around rivers.
For just men or both sexes?
That's just anybody.
I think it's higher for men.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously men have a shorter lifespan because they do stupider shit. Right? I'm sure.
Yeah, but women wear heels, and therefore when they're drunk, can't walk as well.
What I heard TJ say was a lot for dares or for suicide or just being a macho dumbass.
It says males are more likely than females to die or be hospitalized from drowning. Alcohol and risky behavior has been shown to be a major factor in drowning cases, and males are more likely to engage in risky behaviors even when not drinking. It is also probable that females are dying from intoxication in other ways, such as falling from river bluffs and dying in dormitory rooms from acute alcohol intoxication.
And get knocked up.
So basically, guys get drunk and they want to walk around, and they end up falling in a river, whereas women just drink so much that they pass out and die. Or fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
According to that research. So,
I don't think there's a lot of cliffs around here.
Yeah, but...
In La Crosse, there are.
And then another reason why it only happens in the northern states and in the cold months is because there's more rivers up here. More rivers in Canada, the Midwest. Because in Arizona and California, they don't have any rivers.
They go to like the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, because it's the desert region.
Yeah.
That's why it only happens in the Midwest or the northeastern.
That makes sense.
I guess I would have to do like thorough investigation, like writing down things that are all weird, like the fact that they're all, the same sex in college, they're all jocks, they're all white apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all white. Although one guy's name sounded not white at all. I don't remember what his name was. I'll find it.
And then I guess
Kenji Almi. From Wisconsin, 20 years old.
That doesn't sound it.
Okay, I'm going to Google him.
Yeah, Google Kenji, Kenji. Last name, Ohmi.
Hold on.
Oh, my.
Let me open my browser.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were already good. Kenji, Kenji.
Mm-hmm.
Ohmi. Ohmi. That sounds Oriental.
Kenji? I don't know.
That sounds Hawaiian. Kurt had a buddy named Kenji, I thought.
20. Oh. Madison.
Okay. Is he white?
In 2006.
Is he white?
I don't know. I'm opening the article.
You should just do an image search.
He was Asian.
Oh.
Looks like.
So we had one Asian.
Okay, myth debunked.
Yeah.
Then.
Well, and to go back to the MO, like, what possible thrill does a killer get out of this?
Well, if you think about it, it is a really smart way to kill someone. If you wanted to be a serial killer, but you don't want to get your hands dirty, what would you do? You'd be walking around, you look for a drunk on his own, you start talking to him, right?
Yeah.
And then you get by a bridge or something, like Carrie said, you just give him a little nudge. He stumbles over, falls in. If he lives, oh shit, man, I'm sorry, that was an accident. If he dies, you just fucking kill someone. You didn't even have to buy any latex gloves or a knife or anything.
Yeah, but what thrill would you get out of that? I mean, okay, you killed somebody,
yeah,
but that's
a thrill.
But that would wear off. I mean, after probably 2 kills, you'd be like, all right, that don't satisfy me anymore.
20 years now it's been going on.
He was Japanese. He was from Kyoto, and I actually visited there.
Oh, did you know him?
Kyoto's a really big city, so now.
Does he look familiar?
Shaun. It says so that he was a good student and he attended class every day, and that he basically went to a dorm party. And he was 20, mind you, so he was underage.
Yeah.
He went to a dorm party.
A lot of these people
And
were.
then in the morning, the dorm surveillance camera showed him walking out of his dorm, and that was the last he was seen, and his body was found 6 months later. And then it says that when he was leaving, it was around 6:45 a.m., apparently. He didn't take his wallet or an umbrella, and it was raining out. And this was January 28th in Madison.
So maybe it goes back to the whole suicide factor. Maybe a lot of these people committed suicide.
He had so much pressure from his family.
When I'm reading this story, what I'm seeing is a young guy who's a good student who probably didn't really drink much. Maybe this was his first time being drunk, maybe not. I don't know. So he probably was heavily intoxicated.
Yeah.
So this particular case, it doesn't say serial killer.
Well, 17 out of the 42.
Experiencing being drunk for one of the first times.
Well, 17 out of the 42 alleged victims were under 21. So they were underage.
Okay,
and the oldest one I could find is 31.
Well, that's an interesting point then, because I feel that when you're under a certain age, I feel like alcohol affects you differently.
Yeah.
So
yeah, when I was that age, I was getting drunk and playing rugby with, big rocks, small boulders.
When I was that age, I remember a lot of falling and blacking out because I didn't really know yet
you don't
how
know
much.
Your limits.
Yeah.
Because you're basically a baby still.
In terms of drinking, yeah.
Yeah, in terms of like how your brain's developed,
Right.
Like everyone when they're 18, they think they know everything. I know I did.
Well,
I'm
and
sure
at
you
that
did.
age too, you're drinking to get drunk usually. You're not just casually drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think...
And then it comes full circle when you get in your 30s and you're...
Well, and then you get to be older,
to
and then you drink, frequently, just casually, socially, whatever, not to be getting drunk. So then when you do
You drink to celebrate breakfast.
So then when you do get drunk, it takes more because you're like more, what's the word? You're
impressionable?
No. Intolerance. Your tolerance. Your
tolerance, not intolerance.
Whatever. Your tolerance builds.
AKA kidney and liver disease.
Yeah. I hate to see my kidneys or my liver. Fuck them. I don't need them. All right. So, 18 reasons. You can Google it. We're not going to go through each one. But apparently several of the surviving parents of the so-called smiley face victims have expressed doubts about the former detectives' motives for making a big public stink about their theory. When Bill Statistical, I don't know how to say that fucking name, whatever, his son died in Albany, New York, it was classified as a drowning, although he says he thinks it was a murder, but he's utterly disenchanted with Detective Gannon. He said, quote, "I feel Kevin is a sponge. He latches on to the families, sucks the life out of them, and when he has nothing else to suck, he dumps them. Do I think he has re-victimized families and done more harm than good? Yes, I do. And I think that's a shame." I think that's what people in Albany, New York sound like.
Yeah.
A little bit of angry preacher, a little bit of Southern soul.
Albany, New York is like, isn't that like, that's pretty like up there. I'm pretty sure isn't that like way up in north in New York? I'm
sure it's probably just as flat as every other place in this earth.
I don't feel like Albany, New York has Southern accent. But anyways, though, I don't want to touch on that subject because that's like a family member of a victim, and I don't want to I don't know. Even though I've already stepped over people's boundaries by talking about race and shit, but
yeah, Carrie, fucking racist. Whatever.
If the tables are turned, then it'd probably be the other way around. If it was all black victims, my suspicions would definitely be up on it being a white serial
like a hate
killer.
Crime.
Yeah. It's just because they're all the same race. But as we found out, maybe they're not all the same race. There was an Asian Japanese
there's already
man.
Threads coming undone in this theory.
But what about if you consider who are college populations? White males.
Indian.
That's true. That's very true.
I don't know. You think white males are the highest percentage in colleges?
Yeah, it was like 70% when I was at IU. Yeah, they had the statistics.
You live in fucking Indiana.
Well, yeah, but dude, that's like people come from.
That's the same in Wisconsin.
No, it was IU, like down in Bloomington. That's like one of the countries.
That's a good point. Yeah. I do think that there's a higher percentage of white people in universities.
And plus, all these were from the northern states.
I think it depends on where you're going to school at.
No, yeah, that's why I said most of these are in the northern states. So,
were these all universities?
Well, no. I mean, they were. They didn't say that. I mean, they're just near bars, but they all were college students. So
yeah. I just ask if it's universities because universities are, they're more expensive. Not that I just think that, oh God, just delete that part. I don't want to sound like a racist.
Like this whole episode?
No, that part that I just said.
I mean, we're not making fun. We're just, I mean, it's a sad fact.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of, like, there are black people in college universities, but I do remember going to school and basically sitting in a lecture. Of course, I was an art student, so that says a lot, but there'd be, like, maybe 2 black people in my class of, like, fucking 200.
Well, and this was...
So they're smart and they took a measure that matters.
And it was from 97 to, 2015. So, I mean, we have become more diverse now. I mean, so it has gotten better, but...
I do, yeah. I mean, I wonder though. I haven't gone to technical school, but I wonder if there'd be a higher percentage of like.
I'm sure tech schools probably have way more minorities than they do whites.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because tech schools are maybe more accessible.
Yeah, for sure. They're way more
for lower income people, which is generally minorities.
And you come out getting a higher paid.
Yeah,
you gotta come out
that's
with
bull
a higher
crap.
salary.
Yeah, that's bullcrap.
I was gonna say, which by the way, I regret going to university. I probably should have gone to a fucking technical school. Probably make out a lot better and owe a lot less.
Yeah. Just don't go to any of the liberal arts or humanities or social sciences.
Yeah.
Stay away from all of those. They are great fields to learn things and learn how to like communicate with people.
Unless you want to become a professor.
Yeah. If you're going to go all the way, if you're going to go into any of those, go to the doctorate level.
If you want to do anything with arts, just fucking Google it or search it on your Pinterest feed.
Yeah, anything with art, you can do it on your phone now.
I was going to say, or just get the newest iPhone. It probably has more megapixels than that $900,000 camera body.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so smiley face theory. Final thoughts. Are you a fan? Who wants to go first?
I'm up in the air now.
Are you a fan of the theory? Do you like this theory?
Yeah,
or do you think it's complete bullshit?
I'm on the fence now.
You don't know if you like it or not?
Well, I'm just on the fence about whether or not it's just, I don't know, it makes me want to be a detective and like actually figure it out. And now it gives me an idea of maybe what detectives go through when they can't figure things out, you know, because there's so many different cases, I'm sure if there weren't so many things other things I had to focus on, they might be able to focus more on this one and figure out if it is in fact a killer.
Yeah. You could probably crack it if you didn't, you know.
Or at least how many of
laundry.
those are killers.
Yeah.
You know, one by one.
Yeah, I mean, definitely out of those 42, I think there's a good chance at least a few of them probably could have been actual murders besides the 2 that were proven. So what do you think, TJ?
I don't know. I think the more you research it, the less likely it is that it's a killer. It's just like kind of like how we went into it. Like I went into it thinking that it's possible, but then the more statistics you look up and the more evidence you find, the more you're just like, okay, it's probably just some drunk dude. Like what happens at a party? A dude gets pissed, a bunch of bros hanging out, you know, dude's like, screw you, I'm gonna go for a walk. And like they said, most of these places, they're all on the top of hills and rivers are at the bottom, so they walk down the hill because it's the path of least resistance, and they just ended up falling down a hill and rolling into a river and dying. So I don't know. I think I agree with you, Shaun, that maybe, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 could have been murdered, but I don't think that. Yeah, and not to mention the Smiley face is only at like 15 out of the 40 crime scenes. So why are you just throwing in a whole bunch of crimes?
It's just all coincidence.
Yeah, I want to know how many times that Sinsinsawa word.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
because I only saw that in that FBI report.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck's up.
I think it's weird that there were no women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there could have been, and they were just classified as something else.
And even the thing that still like confuses me is the fact that it's all men, majority are white, and they're all college students. It's just, I mean, I guess maybe then they're all college students, like maybe because that means the majority are younger and not of age. I don't know. There's a lot of questions that I still have. So I guess rather than when I went into this, I thought it's for sure a serial killer, but now I'm definitely like on the fence about like, is it just a bunch of weird coincidences or
yeah. I think
I don't know.
Yeah, I went into it thinking I'm like, this is complete bullshit. It's just drunk people falling in fucking rivers. I mean, TJ, what happens when you get drunk? You wander in the woods, you have to hop a fence.
Yeah.
And you lose your shoe.
And then I gotta have surgery.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Shit like that happens.
That's true. I totally forgot about that.
You had to have surgery?
Yeah.
What? Wait, start over.
He got drunk, fucking took a shortcut through the woods, had to jump a fence, ended up with a splinter lodged in his foot.
3 of them.
How old were you?
This was before I moved to Kokomo.
Yeah, so it was after
like 10 years ago.
2006.
Yeah,
2007.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So you were underage.
No.
Yeah, I was 20 at the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're only 30.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah, that's what happens.
So yeah, I was one of these people, but
he could have fallen in a river instead of just getting a splinter.
I was going to say
I wasn't near a river though, luckily. So
I think I was 19 when I remember, which is silly that I remember, but I feel lucky that I'm alive because I thought I was for sure going to die of alcohol poisoning.
Was that the Nine Inch Nails concert?
No, this was 3/11. And my boyfriend at the time.
I think I heard this story. I don't know.
Probably the Bacardi Big Apple story. Reason why I cannot drink green apple booze anymore. Because my boyfriend at the time arrived way too late with his friends before the concert, and we had to get drunk in a hurry. So I took like literally 20 fucking shots in like 30 minutes.
Were you super pissed at him too? Because I can imagine how you would be.
No, it got to the show. We went into the gas station. I puked. I think we left the gas station. I puked more. We went to the show, and I think I ended up like passing out, like literally within the first song. And they were going to call me an ambulance, and instead someone just took me home, probably my boyfriend at the time. And he just laid me down in my bed, and I remember like hyperventilating, like breathing really heavy because I fucking drank too much and felt like I was going to fucking die. I'm sure
I've witnessed you do that before.
I'm sure anyone who has drank way too much knows exactly the feeling I'm talking about. And he left me. And I was like, I could have died. I feel like I could have died. Like I was breathing. Like I just remember being so drunk. I've
seen you like that a few times, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
I
can't imagine just leaving you there because most of the time you're half naked too. So of course I'm going to stick around.
Oh my god!
I'm going to cover you up and make sure your hair's tied back and you got that bucket next to you.
Okay, I know I've been like drunk before, like after that, but that one incident though, I feel was definitely the worst ever.
So that totally proves the FBI's point. Guys get drunk and wander, and girls get alcohol poisoning in their rooms.
Yeah, with girls, when's the last time you saw a girl wander off alone?
Yeah.
They wander off alone to the bathroom with 5 other girls, usually.
Yeah.
You girls, like, people always say men are packs. Girls have the pack mentality.
Well, and that's the other thing, too, is maybe more oftentimes than not, women always feel that they need maybe to walk home with someone to avoid predators.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas males maybe don't, and maybe that's how they end up dead in rivers. I don't know.
That could be.
But there was that one story about the woman who got into a fight with her friends. This was in Milwaukee. I think left the apartment. This was in the winter.
It was like -17
and
in River
she
West.
wasn't wearing much.
She was wearing like a little skirt and a top.
And she was found, I think, dead in an alley from
not
hypothermia.
far away. Yeah, she did not make it far.
That was so horrible to read.
Yeah.
To think about all the people around that could have helped her, or even the fact that they let her leave alone.
Yeah, exactly.
So what happened? She just like passed out and then died of hypothermia or whatever?
I think she just got she must have gotten too cold and
and she was probably drunk, and it was like it was literally negative.
This was
17.
like January in Wisconsin in River West, which is right by the lake, so it's even colder.
Yeah,
and she got into a fight with her friends and
stormed off. Probably like maybe some of these victims, they stormed off, and instead of falling in a river, she sat down in an alley and just froze to death. And passed out.
She sit down in an alley? I don't know, but
either way, she got cold sad. And
it's very. I just can't believe
I could have been a victim if I would have been by a river when I lived in Waukesha.
Why? What did you do?
TJ's a party to this. When I was living off Sunset by the McDonald's, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was living over there, and it was Thanksgiving Eve, and I got super drunk at band practice with Dawn and Joe, who lived down by the Valvoline station on Sunset.
Okay.
And so I got super drunk. Joe and
How old were you?
I was playing in a Nura. It was 26, maybe 25.
Okay, so you were.
I was 25.
You had some experience. You had a lot of experience under your belt, being you.
I was 24, 25.
You had been drinking for at least 15 years.
I didn't have Brody yet, so it was 11 years.
You didn't have Brody yet?
No.
How old were you when you got Brody? I thought I met you when you were 27.
I was, and Brody was like a year old. 2 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got him when I was 25.
Okay.
So I'm turning 36, and he just turned 11.
Can't believe Brody was 2 when I met him.
Yeah. So anyway, I was 25, 24,
your
25.
early 20s.
Yeah. And
mid.
So I walked home day before Thanksgiving, right?
Right.
Freezing out.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to walk up to that BP. You know what BP I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Which is it? Like another mile away.
Okay.
So I walk like quarter mile back to my apartment. I'm like, I'm fucking hungry. I'm going to go buy a frozen pizza. It's like 2 a.m, right? Fucking completely drunk. While I'm walking there, a blizzard starts. Huge blizzard. I buy my pizza. I walk out.
Did you have a coat or anything on?
I had on a long sleeve thermal shirt.
That was it?
I had long hair.
I would have pulled over and been like, you need a ride?
Well, when I walked out the door, a BP, there's 2 different doors there.
Because you probably would have killed me or something.
Probably. I would have thrown you in a river and smiled.
Oh my God. Okay.
So anyway, back to my story. I walked out, like there's 2 different doors on angles at that BP. I walk in one, buy my pizza. I walk out the other one, which shoots me in the opposite direction into an industrial park.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was talking to someone on the phone, But nonetheless, a fucking blizzard started, and I got lost as fuck. And I ended up calling TJ. This is back before cell phones were smart. This is back when all you could do was text and play Snake and make phone calls.
Okay.
There's no GPS on phones. So I had to call TJ and give him a basic direction of where I was. And I was a long way from home. And I had to fucking walk all the way back in a blizzard. A fucking freezing whiteout blizzard all the way home. Piss ass drunk. If there would have been a river, I probably could have fallen in one.
I'm surprised you didn't somewhat sober up, though, walking in that cold.
Oh, I did. I remember screaming, "Just the best you got. You want a piece of me, God? It's the best you got."
You seriously did that? Of course you did.
I was drunk and I was hungry.
God.
I think I ate half the pizza before I got home to cook it.
You have it. We had this discussion not that long ago about there was some show we were watching, and someone it was a chick that started eating.
It was a comedy, yeah.
It was American Housewife.
Yeah.
And they were drunk and she ate a frozen pizza. And I was like, have you ever done that, Shaun? And you were like, no. So you have. You have done that.
I don't remember because I was drunk. I think I went home and I made the pizza and I just ate it after 5 minutes of cooking. That doesn't count.
That counts.
If you cook it for 5 minutes,
it's warm.
If it's warm, it doesn't count. It doesn't matter if the cheese isn't all the way melted.
No, I have had your pizzas that you have cooked before where the middle is still frozen.
Hey.
It is disgusting.
It's not frozen. If you can bite into it, it's not frozen.
No, I don't want to eat cold ass unmelted cheese and then have somewhat
That's why you
warm.
microwave it for a minute afterwards just to melt everything. It's like a steak.
Why couldn't
you don't want
I
to fucking
married
burn
a
ass
chef?
steak. You don't want to burn ass steak.
I don't mind
you want that shit
my
fucking
steak a little bit.
A little bit cool.
We're going way off topic.
A little bit mooing in the middle. Well, at least we're filling a full hour.
That's cool. I'm sure we could talk more about drunk stories if I had more wine.
Wow, maybe we can do an episode on that.
About being drunk?
Instead of DuckTales, we can call it Drunk Tales.
That was that was like all my drunk tales, though. I can't remember any of my other ones.
Oh, I have plenty. Yeah. I have plenty.
No, I don't want to hear my drunk tales from you.
Oh, exactly.
I want me to replay them so that I leave out the bad part.
That's why we need to tell drunk tales on each other.
No. I don't think I really have seen you be when you get drunk now, your attitude changes, but you don't fall over or do anything silly.
No, I'm a fucking professional. Come
you
on
just
now.
Yeah,
we
you
perfected
just
the
your
art.
assholeness
I've been
is
doing this shit for 25 years.
I feel like though that's with anyone. Any man that gets drunk, I feel like anytime they get drunk, they're just I don't know, that it's like someone pushes asshole overdrive.
I just like to run around and go from place to place.
No, you get the same way.
And I just like to run around.
You talk so much shit when you're drunk.
Do talk a lot of shit.
I do.
Oh my God. I remember at our New Year, what was that? Our apocalypse party with the rat poison.
Yeah.
I don't remember what you were talking about, but you were talking mad shit about me, to me. And I just,
well, at least it was to your face.
Oh yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't behind the back.
Yeah.
Luckily, I wasn't drunk, and I was just like, okay, TJ. Oh, you said something about, I think I was on the dog's beds petting the dogs.
Yeah.
And you were making comments about how I'm a dog because I'm on the dog's beds.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? If you're on the dog bed, then you become a dog, right?
Disclaimer, TJ is not drunk right now.
Well,
He did have a couple shots.
Oh my God.
All right. On that note, I think we should wrap this up. Thank you everyone listening. Find us on Twitter at Make Me a Fan, Instagram Make Me a Fan Podcast, Facebook Make Me a Fan Podcast, and our website is www.makemeafanpodcast.com. Next week we are doing a crossover episode with the What If podcast. We're going to be doing a What If episode with them. We just found out the What If today, and it's super awesome. I don't know if they're going to be airing it, or if we're going to be airing it, or we're both going to air it. But either way, you can hear it. So thank you everyone for listening. And stay away from rivers when you're drunk. All right. Bye, bitches.
bye.
What the fuck?
Mental vacation.
Makes me seem like a horrible individual.
You are.
Yeah.
have anal sex with a person who, prior to the deed, has swallowed a piece of raw bacon.
What?
like fucking a chicken. That'd be awesome.
Well, make me a fan of your crime.
They still had places to go. You know, there were still bars.
Make me a fan, Cupcake.